Wake up, Exiles. This one is an absolute huge patch, and we're getting everything. Endgame content updates, Trial of Sekhemas, quality of life changes, there's expedition logbooks, twisted domains, rogue exiles, corrupt rituals. A huge overhaul of things that are not so good right now. First, Endgame Rewards. When setting up the frequency of encounters and rewards for Path of Exile 2, we have to decide how many maps players will have to do in order to get them. After the extensive playtesting, we now believe that we overshot the number pretty substantially. I agree. In 0.20G, we improved the baseline experience of getting rewards from monsters and chests, but we still feel you don't get enough of those exciting spike moments when something very powerful or valuable drops. There are actually some very cool items to find, but you won't ever find them because they're incredibly rare. One of the major focuses of 0.21 is making chase items more common, but also adding more chase items to find. This is really the main thing for them to fix. You want to play endgame and good things should drop. And not that I get all of my items from the vendor, because every character in the endgame for me has their weapon from the vendor. I've never actually found a good weapon in the endgame. And I've brought every single ascendancy to level 90. Unique items. In 021, we are going to be significantly improving both the drop rates of the incredible rare unique items we already have, as well as adding a bunch of new exciting chase uniques that will take your builds to new heights. We're also buffing some of the rarer uniques that were intended to be chase, but didn't live up to this standard. You should see significantly more chase uniques than before, and we'll be doing a post showing some of the new uniques next week. My problem with uniques right now in Path of Exile 2 is, and I'll have to compare to Diablo 4, I know some of you might hate this, but I have no guarantee of getting them. I can do 1,000 hours, and I will still not have the one unique I'm looking for, because they're just randomly dropping in the world, and there's no target farm for them. Yes, there's some that drop from some bosses or that you only get doing certain encounters. But that being said, if I'm looking for the corpse tread boots, I have the orbs of chance, but I might get so unlucky that I never see them. And if I play solo self-found instead of trade, yeah, I'm pretty much locked out of doing some builds. I would like to have some more kind of target farm, personally, or I just have to play trade. If I want to play certain builds, I'm just simply forced to play trade. Crafting Socketables. One of the issues that we have with Socketable crafting system at the moment is that by the time you get to the end game, there isn't really anything new or exciting to find to socket in your gear. Resists and attributes are great to help with solving problems in the early game, but in the end game, ideally you should be swapping all of these out for more interesting and powerful mods. We are adding 22 new runes, soul cores, and 7 new talismans. These cover a full spectrum from being powerful to insane but are rare to find. You will certainly want to use them over the normal base set of Socketables. Please don't start with rare to find. You just said that in the end game, you want us to get stuff to replace the old stuff. Now the old stuff is extremely easy to find, right? We have all runes by the end game. We have a lot of soul cores. You have talismans. Technically have talismans if they would actually drop from the wisps. But now you're adding new stuff, and you're saying they're rare to find. I like, you want to reach level 70, 80, 85, and then already have these items to actually put in, and not play x66 hours on 90 before finding these. Because most people actually stop 85 or at 90, because the chase to 100 is really not a desirable chase. Ritual also suffered from us pitching the chase rewards too rare. We're making the rarer omens from Ritual more common. You'll see the same number of omens, but there's significantly higher probability of being a rarer, more exciting ones. That's good. I have some omens, but I've always gotten the omens that are just very lackluster and not exciting to use. That's a decent change. Corrupted essences. While we're at it, we'll also be increasing the commonality of getting corrupted essences when using Val orbs on monsters trapped in essences by approximately 6 times. Not something I've experienced so far, because I've just been too lazy to carry Val orbs with me to corrupt essences. But that's on me. I need to experiment with this. Rogue Exiles, the best mechanic they have added to the game so far. Yes, I love the Rogue Exiles. Just didn't have enough unique items, so we're increasing the frequency that they have. Yep, that true. Absolutely true. I have killed them, and in the video we were promised there are loot pinatas that are full of unique items. You're consistently going to get uniques from them, and it's going to be super cool. And then I kill a rogue exile and I get nothing, or one. But you know, they're promised to be my source of target farm somewhere where I see, oh, he has these 3 uniques. I'm now going to be cooking after I kill it. Thank you. Twisted Domain. The boss in the Twisted Domain was pretty valuable, but as an endgame area, the rest of it was pretty underwhelming compared to the other content you're doing at the time. Pinnacle content shouldn't be giving less rewards than the dozens of maps required to gain access to it. Yes, Pinnacle content should be also Pinnacle rewards, because why else do I go there? To start, we've substantially increased the number of rare monsters that spawn during the domain. Previously, there would often be no rare monsters at all. In addition, we have changed the balance of quantity and rarity that monsters in the domain have. This will mean that the large drop of items that occurs right before the boss fight should now be way more valuable than before. We now also guarantee some rare breach rings in the resulting drop, so you should come away with at least a decent chance of some powerful items. And now to Expedition Logbooks, and this one is huge because I'm going to be honest with you, Expedition Logbooks couldn't be less exciting. I have some of them, not many, and I'm not even using them. One thing that makes logbooks unrewarding is the fact that very high levels, they have so few monsters spawning that they often end up yielding significantly less items than just a regular endgame map. This is reflected in the fact that at low level 90s, you could do an entire 80, the highest possible level logbook, and not even gain 1% of experience. Yay. Why even bother? We're doing a pass on the amount of monsters spawning, focusing on very high level ones to better match the consistency of other endgame content. The first change is that we're increasing the distance between explosives and the radius of explosives. This will allow you to ultimately uncover more monsters and rewards. Thank you. And there's more monsters spawning now. Additionally, we're also making changes to the specific features found in each of the different logbook areas. On top, you should maybe increase the logbook drop rate, because I feel like that one is quite low as well. Lush Isles currently has Karui totem remnants that cause the monsters to give substantial increased experience. It also has a fenced off areas where you can explode the fence and gain access to totems that drop a lot of currency items. And on the beaches, there are small corruption pustules that drop uncut skill gems. In order to improve this area, we're increasing the number of remnants, especially the experienced ones. Additionally, we will generate more of the fenced off sections and a larger chance for the pustules will be made where destroying any of them will cause all monsters unearthed afterwards to spawn corruption monsters on death, similar to those in the corrupted areas on the Atlas. Combined with the base change to drastically increase the number of base monsters spawned during logbooks, it is intended that Lush Isle provides a very good source of experience. The Frigate Bluffs logbook area in the icy tundra with Vale architecture and many Val monsters and Val remnants frozen in time. Aside from the traditional expedition monsters and chests, you can also explode these Val objects free. The problem is they're really underwhelming. We're making a couple of changes here. On top the Val monsters, we're now going to have some Val bosses frozen in time too. These are standalone map bosses that can be broken out and fought. All the remnant modifiers will apply to them as normal. Cool. The Val remnants that cost items to drop corrupted are being reworked. Now they will generate with 1 to 3 upsides and 1 to 3 downsides that normal remnants have. Think of them just as super remnants. Very cool that you get bosses frozen in time. That's going to make me very excited to actually go to the Frigate Bluffs logbook. The Barren Atoll is an atoll that sea travelers and fishermen have used to store their treasure and supplies. After our changes, the crates are going to significantly drop more gold, and we're going to generate a lot more strong boxes, and by a lot I mean over 10 times as many, of which could be unique strong boxes too. The Azimite runes, aside from already adding rarity to all subsequent unearthed monsters, will now drop 2 to 4 additional runes instead of the existing 1. Given we are adding some new rune drops, this may prove to be a good source to get them. This leads us to endgame content and variety improvements and a very important sentence in the beginning. A second main focus, we're going to increase the variety. Right now, did you know that if you were to generate 400,000 maps, that 150 of them would be Hidden Grotto? I noticed. I played a lot of Hidden Grotto. We are certainly sick of running that area and fighting the same boss on repeat. The intention here is to normalize the frequency that different maps boss fights appear on the Atlas. This will make things feel far less repetitive. There's another big change though coming. Citadel spawning has been adjusted. Whenever a Citadel is generated on the Atlas, it will also ensure that it generates 2 types of Citadel near it, the other 2 types. If you get an iron, you're going to have the copper, and I forget the third one, blood, right? No, it's been a while. But you get all 3 stone. All 3 Citadels together every single time. That's a huge change. How many times have you actually tried to go to the Arbiter? You found one Citadel, and then it's like, okay, now in another 5 hours of gameplay, I might be lucky to find the other Citadel, or another 3 copper Citadels. Both these changes to Atlas layouts won't apply to areas that you have revealed. In order to get the improvements, you will need to explore further away into the Atlas that hasn't been generated yet. I gotta say, with these changes, they maybe should give us an option, everyone, to just press one-time reset, like they gave us with the skill tree, that we could reset for characters because of significant changes. But if I now want to experience this to the max on a character, maybe just let me reset everything back to 1. Additionally, you can expect some other endgame improvements, such as reducing the danger of 2 of the ritual types that were just a ruckus of purple chaos explosions, and reducing the danger and increasing the telegraphing of the volatile plants monster modifier. Remove that. Remove the volatile plants monster modifier. Stop messing around. Thank you. We're also lowering some of the more dangerous map modifiers, like elemental penetration, to be more in line with others, improving the rewards invisibility of Omen in the Viridian Wildwood unique map, increasing the radius to open clasped hands in the breaches, reducing the pack size of bats that shotgun you with projectiles in the Twisted Domain, and reworking cursed map mods to have counterplay. They're just some of the more isolated improvements coming. Now, Trials of Sekhemas. I expected a little bit more, but these are still good. We have an affliction that says you have no energy shield. This is now half your energy shield, because otherwise you just lose, right? If you do energy shield, you lose it all, it's over. Especially if you're a chaos inoculation build. Now you should at least be able to maybe finish your run. On top of this, we have discovered a mistake with the chances of getting certain affliction and boons. Specifically, there was 1 affliction, 2 minor boons, and 1 major boon, and 1 pack that had 100 times the commonality they should have. And you know which one it is? It is the one that says, entering the boss room restores honor. If you always get this one. You choose 1 random minor boon in the first floor, you always get that one. It wasn't random. So this one is going to get changed, that you actually have a bit more randomness now, for real. Quality of life and user experience changes. This one I haven't read before. We did some notable quality of life improvements in O2OH, but there are more coming. We have a huge improvement for searching on the passive tree when using keyboard and mouse. Now when you search for passes by typing in the text field, you can press enter to automatically find and go to that passive. Yes, so I don't have to type it in and then actually search for something and kind of miss it because I might just be blind. Or stupid, or both. If there are multiple passive found in your search, then continuing to press enter will cycle through them. It also darkens the rest of the passive tree to help bring the search nodes to the foreground. Thank you. Instead of just having the nodes blink up, why not blend out the nodes that are not relevant? Dankeschön. A huge reflect has been that we invert the display of tier X on items when using advanced item display. This is so that you can immediately identify if a modifier is the best it can be on an item. This is more for advanced and endgame players, but it's very important to being able to quickly assess the true power of an item, or if it's an appropriate crafting base. We're swapping this back to work the same way as Path of Exile 1. You know, I appreciate that you're writing this, but maybe you should tell also how it was in Path of Exile 1, because not everyone played Path of Exile 1, right? I, for myself, don't understand what we're gonna get now, right? I don't know how it was in Path of Exile 1. On the Atlas, when you hover over a map, it will separate the categories of modifiers displayed, so you can now more easily see where those modifiers are coming from. Specifically, you can now determine if they're coming from corrupted or cleansed influence in one category, and if they are from towers in another category. This will make it clearer when looking for specific modifiers like +1 level in corrupted influenced areas. There are also performance improvements coming. Thank you very much, because let's be fair, the performance of the game is just not good. It works, yes. If I play my mercenary, I still want to throw my PC out of the window. Diablo 4 is vastly more performant. Sorry, I gotta say it. So work on that one. Thank you very much. And lastly, the most important thing, we also added some improvements to the shop and cosmetic panel. The money gotta flow, ladies and gentlemen. To summarize our 021 patch, we are hoping to deploy at the end of the week. We're keeping flexible as it might fall into the week afterwards. We'll keep you updated with further changes and post some specific uniques and Socketables between now and then. Good changes. Still feel like we need an overall endgame change. So they're literally trying to band-aid all the things. They're trying to buff all the things. They're trying to bring everything in line. And yet still I'm not sure about the whole endgame system just being Path of Exile 1 slightly improved. Not a boss on every map. Something in the endgame is just not right. All these changes are good changes. They will improve the game. They will streamline what we currently have. But that doesn't mean that what we have is actually the best we could have. I still feel like their endgame is just not there. I can't put my finger on it. I think a lot of you feel like this. Playing through the campaign is great. This is streamlined now. This gets you more item. But as soon as you hit the end game, it just feels like you're stepping into a different game. The feeling Path of Exile 1 did not have. And this is a feeling that Path of Exile 2 has. And still needs to address and work around. Still, good patch. And with all these changes, I definitely have to do another 1 to 90 run to really see how is everything coming together, especially as a solo cell phone player. What do you think? Is this going to make you lock back in Exile? If you're now looking for some amazing builds to try out with all these changes, I got some bangers for you. Enjoy and have a very good time.